Good morning. This is the time and place for zoning hearing cases for April 30th, 2014. My name is Bradley Collin. I will be conducting the hearing as the hearing officer. We have one case scheduled for today, and the relevant exhibits are posted on the panels located directly behind me. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of the speaker forms, which have been provided by the front door and submitted to our planning assistant. I have one speaker card so far. If there's anybody else wishing to speak, please fill out a card. I would like to also inform everyone that the official proceedings of the planning hearing officer hearing are recorded on tape as part of the public record. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by use of public notices which were mailed to property owners and occupants located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. The hearing will proceed as follows. The case planner will make a brief overview of the case and make a recommendation. The applicant will be asked to then come forward stating both name and address. Will be asked to make a presentation, the maximum 15-minute time limit. Others in support of or in opposition to the application and interested parties will be asked to come to speak, again, clearly stating both name and address with a 3-minute time limit. Lastly, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make closing comments, if desired, in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers with a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will be closed and the case either taken under submission or decision may be made today. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses and provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision letter will be the date on the letter. Under the provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.42 of the Glendale Municipal Code, a conditional use permit, which is the application we have before us today, shall be granted if 4 of the required findings are present. They are, first, that the proposed use will be consistent with the elements and objectives of the general plan. Second, that the use and its associated structures and facilities will not be detrimental to the public health or safety, the general welfare, or the environment. Third, that the use and facilities will not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent uses or impede the normal development of surrounding property. And fourth, that the adequate public and private facilities, which include utilities, landscaping, parking spaces, and traffic circulation measures, are or will be provided for the proposed use. In addition, there are 5 other findings that need to be made when the application is related to an alcoholic service, sales, or consumption. If the evidence presented in the application at the hearing meets the criteria just described, the hearing officer can either approve or impose conditions for approval on the case in question. If the findings of fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. The case we have today is an application for a conditional use permit to allow the continued on-site sales, service, consumption of alcoholic beverages at an existing restaurant located at 714 South Brown Boulevard in the CA, which is a commercial auto zone, described as Lot 7 and 8, track number 2460. At this time, I'd like to ask our case planner to give us a brief overview.
Yes, Mr. Collin, as you stated, this application is a renewal for the sale, serving, and consumption of alcoholic beverages at an existing restaurant. The restaurant has been at that location since the 70s, at least, including the sale of alcoholic, sale, serving, and consumption of alcoholic beverages since the 70s. Staff has routed the case to other departments for comments. There were no negative comments from other departments. Staff's assessment is that the 4 required findings can be made. In addition to the 4 required findings, the additional required findings related to the sale, serving, and consumption of alcoholic beverages can also be made. As a result, staff's recommendation is to approve the request with conditions. I would like to mention a recommended modification to one of the conditions. It's the last condition, which grants the entitlement for a period of 10 years. The 10-year expiration date was initially set based on the initial hearing date for this application. Since the case has been continued, we are recommending that the expiration date be modified to reflect the date 10 years from the date of the decision. And based on this, I would like to conclude my presentation and turn it over to the applicant.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bedikian. At this time, we have one speaker card. Is there anybody else in the audience that wishes to speak? No? Okay. I'd like to ask Maria de Leon to come forward, please, stating your name and address. Public hearing is open.
Maria E. de Leon, 714 South Brown Boulevard, Glendale, California, 91204. And basically, I have not much to say. I agree with the conditions that you have, and if it's ready to close or to pursue, we are fine with everything you have just mentioned and he had just mentioned too.
Okay.
We have nothing to go against.
And you've been in operation since the 70s, as Mr. Bedikian said?
We took over in 2005. 2005.
Okay, but it's been a
But the
restaurant.
business has been there since late 1970s.
Took over 2005.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have no other speaker cards. I'm going to close the public hearing. Based on the testimony received and findings that were made, I believe that findings can be made in a positive manner with the modification to the condition as that was suggested by staff to be expiration date 10 years from the date of the decision letter. I'm going to go ahead and approve the subject conditional use permit, subject to the conditions with the one modification. And the decision will be made in writing fairly soon. Under the provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, this is relating to appeals. The decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal may obtain forms and brochures on the procedures from Building and Safety Section, Permit Service Center, located on the same floor of this building. As I said, I'm approving this application. Good luck. Continued success with your business. And I'm going to officially close the hearing. Thank you all for coming. It's 9:42 on April 30th.